Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scurvy Scouts and Pirates of the Caribbean film series. Simon Angel Seals. This is my friend Cornfield today. Today's date is Saturday, June 24th, 2023. We are watching the shows on AEW Coalition Saturday nights. So we just do the talk about all that to the chance for me about the evolution. The future of the McJuggernuggets is the part one. That will ends up about the part one on about 2022 and 2023 school years, about 2016 for the last 7 years ago. Ironically, and this is like about for the last few years ago, for the last 7 years. I did have about an advanced program for about I signed in for about the evaluation of a Washington track parts, and for the last 2 years ago, for the 19 to 21, so 2 years since I was in the Bethany Baptist Church, and for the job sites, food bank with the job sites, with the work crew with John, and another to be continued on the job site is the Spark Stadiums and Brookdale's, the McLendons, and the Washington Tractor Parks, and then Fuji's over there to the left. So I did that for the last few months ago. For about I was not able to to the following 10 years ago. Like same time, my former job coach, as far as that I have to do that for about the best ever for about the efforts as far as that I do for about the disabilities for the paperwork for the DDA eligibility and DVR and Trillium. And as far as about what happens to me for about I've been involved about for the last 7 years ago from 2016 to 366 days. It seems one to people sad to say goodbye to for the last of them about that was in competing for about 18 years in 1998 to 2016 for the last 18 years and a long time. So I did not wanted to notice this about the life of my futures of 2016 for about I was at 21. I'd be asking about from the floors of about a year ago, all the time. I was like, oh, that totally, I was a reliable for about. I was due for the liability for about, I used to resign as the Social Security paperworks. I was resigned as DVR, eligibility, and Trillium. I was as far as at about for the 7 years from the evolutions. And that could be goes for the next year is to be 2020 and 2024 during the school years with to school to work. But that's like all this time as sooner it must be a possibility as far as that I care about. Um, Make a Wish is my best ever for about the evolutions. That was my bad reputation about Felice about the baddest man on the earth as far as about the care time for the daycare for the caretaker. So my former job coach, as far as that I had to do petroleum, and he was far so about my good friends, my good fellow times after I was working in the Walmart Carts Associate and the pushing carts. Like sometimes I do have about the 4 hour shift. I am almost shamefully for about in this in the timelines from 2016 summers for about 5 to 15 minutes earlier to get to point zero. I'll get loose on my job. I will get able to about 2.5. I'll get fired and terminated is a 2.0. So like I will about the last time between Andrew told me about make sure to clock out for about one as 100%. He told me to for about at least about 4 hours or 30 minutes. I've been clocked out for about 130 as 100%. Yeah, he said don't do that for about 125, 120 to 150, for that could be about illegal. For leaving the clock out for about the earlier for 15 minutes. All right. So he says we can't do that. So he can't. He says you can't do that. All right. So like he says. So like he says, and Andrew says to me, like it says, just clock out about all of us about the zero with 100%. I know sometimes as far as I do my best, as far as that I take this ones, is it could be getting along about unacceptable. So and that's like as far as that I took this one about in time in a year. So and that's like as far as that if you notice this about this happening so now, and that's like in timelines for about 2016 from the 7 years in the evolutions. So and it's hardware for nowhere else as far as that I do go. So I have to please the every way and anywhere as far as that I else be go for anywhere. I have to go for about hangouts at Southfield Mall before I go to work. So I was shameful me. I just clocked out earlier today for about at least the Walmart doesn't like me. So I have to say I just wanted to apologize just for about employees and employers about at least in the last 7 years a long time for about I just felt like it's really bad for about the Walmart employees and employers of a year. Like in 2016 for the year. My former job coach just told me say I just got clocked out, I lost my job and as far as I say I became as poor for the last 7 years ago. So I have to admit for about at least in the 7 years to resign as a DVR eligibility DDA and Trillium's paperwork just for these. Even I was in resign as Social Security and countation for my food advocates too for at least the last 4.5 years. That's like the last 4 years ago from 2019. My dad couldn't get this one, so I couldn't make it to talk. He couldn't make it to talk to the Social Security. I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to Dad with the Social Security about the food advocate as far as that I did. I failed for about at least the last 3 years ago. Yeah, it seems I was very disappointed for about at least the last 4 years ago. Even much likely for about from 2019 for a year. That would end up with 365 days in 2019. That was like during the 3 years of better from 2016 through 2019 and 1,461 days. I was apologizing for about I was sorry and apologizing for Mrs. Grace, Mr. Haynes, Mr. Jeffers, Mr. Gleason, and John, and with Mr. Anderson. I believe I was apologizing. I heard of it about my longtime friend Mariah, Brandon Miller, Donovan, Brandon Mulligan, Richard, his last name's Archer, Andrew, and Michael Sixbooge, and Shannon, and Sierra, and Jennifer. All these guys, and Ellen. And Miss Caldo, then Miss Dar. I both of them call Miss D and Miss Paula. I just call them last name is Mrs. Caldell and Miss Dar and Mrs. Bat Lion. Well, I was wondering sometimes I was able to well guys and girls, I messed up for the last 2 weeks ago, and including last 3 weeks ago. I was wondering, I'm just sorry. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for who I am. I'm sorry for everything, for for deliberately disobey myself about the vlog's reactions for the least for about to the 22 days last. That was the last 22 days ago after my last adventures of the California for 7 days for the last month. I feel sorry for everything for the last month after my last vacations, my last appearance of the family adventures of the Universal Studios and Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. I apologize for everything from the last month, from the last 30 days. So, don't forget about me. I don't forget about you. Don't forget about you. So, I feel like I wanted to go out for park. So, I feel like to go out to the park. I'm sorry for everything. It is what I need. Alright. I'm just trying to clean up. I'm just trying to clean the bathroom room and hallways and kitchens and dens. And I'm just trying to clean my house up as far as I can. So we don't want to tell anybody the secrets. It's hard to secrets. So I'm not making it funny. I'm not making it funny as far as between Quan and I and making fun of me. We're not just funny. We're not. Alright, guys. Alright, so you made for the apology accepted, guys. So it's good to see you all. So make sure to don't forget to subscribe to my contest, Twitter, Instagram, Facebooks, and Google and Finds Camera. Don't forget to subscribe and follow on the TikToks, Telegrams, and Instagrams, things to the chats, to the videos, action, the live, YouTube lives, and short films. All I have to do is making the films about YouTube studios to make money, as far as that I figure out, as Like It Do So says. So we're just watching it on continue on AEW Saturday Night Coalitions. So that's will be the first time ever. So for the last week. Oh no, yeah, I'm just like it says. Yesterday, I just got to the first time of single folk place is for you, right beside down the across the streets of the Little Caesars, and Dollar Tree and Petco. So pretty good. And maybe photos is good as far as should I take about single ones. So make sure to take a look up to our subscription to contest today on the Hunter Call for a while, Elma Coast on Easter Gray Kangaroos, still Ferragos, still Ferropigs, still Axis Deers, Fallow Deer, the Red Deer, and Red Fox, new animals, Bontang, the Coral Quails, saltwater crocodiles, Javon's Salusa deers, sandbar deer, and hog deers, and all the others, magpie goose. Make sure don't forget the subscription contest today. Watch it on Lady Legend XOs, and Spencer Worlds, Jackson Beers, The Lone Gamers, Flinters, Run 2s, and DD33s, and even subscription to contest today at the back cam on WWE live events, so Saturday night super shows and Sunday nights on weekends live event super shows. Alright guys, I'm just having fun today on the Hunter Call for a while on Emerald Coast of the 8 story missions. As far as should I take it, Australian reservations. Alright guys, it's good to see you all. I will see you tomorrow. I don't want to be myself sitting around to do nothing. All right. So just like Mr. Jeffers says, don't sit around to do nothing about for the last 9 years. All right. Feel free to watch on videos. Don't forget to keep it rich, mateys. It's great to see you all. Have a great night.